This will be a 45-15 setup, so you'll go one station at a time, 45 work, 15 rest, and then 45 work again. Then you move to the next station, 45 work, 15 rest, 45 work again, and you just move through a bunch of stations there. For equipment, you want some sliders for a couple different things. You're going to want your mini band for a few. You'll want weighted objects, mostly just heavier stuff. You're going to use for curls, you're going to hold a weight for a goblet squat, and then a bent over row. So think about whatever the heaviest objects that you have are. And then you're also going to need the bench for that bent over row for a split squat. And I think that will be everything that you'll need for today. So first one's going to be a push-up with a knee drive. Don't need anything for this one. We're going to go in about 10 seconds here. So it's going to be push-up, then you'll bring one knee up, push-up, one knee up. 2.
We're going to alternate legs on this movement, so one push, one knee tuck, one push, one knee tuck. You could draw the knee underbody like a normal mountain climber, or go somewhat wide like a wide mountain climber. If this is tuck, you could always go kneeling position, hit a push up, do a little bit of a wide knee tuck. Ben has that demo now. We are 15 seconds out. Being the normal bComplete class will be on for 45, off for 15. So in a few seconds, take 15 seconds to breathe. Recover slightly. 3, 2. I guess the cool thing to do is to put a bear in your window. And then kids are walking around like looking for bears. Yeah? We found some bears last night on our walk. So I was like, oh look, it's a bear. I'm like, what? oh, I got you now. Another thing of the same here, guys, a push a knee, a push a knee. Put some bears in your windows.
On my internal facing window in my 4th story apartment. That'll catch a lot of eyes, I'm sure.
From here, our next thing is going to be a single leg alternating curl. So I'll grab some bells, kind of lighter to medium weight. I'm going to stand on one leg with the knee up and then do an alternating curl. 10 seconds left in these push-ups though. 5, 2, good, breathe, breathe.
So up on that one foot, you want really good posture here. So think about the up leg, your thigh is pretty much parallel to the floor. Behind you. Jordan. Nice. Chest is up the whole time too, and you can either look straight forward or down slightly. What is best is to keep your eyes pretty fixed. Don't try to look around too much. Unless you're really, really good with the balance here, you can try closing your eyes, but don't have any objects or children in the way. Last 10. 2, 1. So you'll be switching legs, but otherwise the curls will stay the same. And depending on how much weight you have, you can make the curls a little harder by moving consistently. So not actually taking a break, not stopping at any point during the curl. If you got a heavier weight, you're getting really fatigued, you can do one, drop, the other one, drop. So there's all different options depending on what equipment you have available. So don't think that there's only one way to do everything if you only have a heavy weight or you only have a lightweight. 20 seconds to go. Next one's going to be a dead bug down on your back. So you'll just be putting your weights to the side. Five seconds left. Kiss your biceps at the end on this one. 2.
As Ben mentioned a static dead bug, low back stays driven down, kick the limbs. My battery is running low, I better grab a charger. Wait for me, computer.
There, you got 5 seconds, it's gonna stop. Make sure you're breathing, keep your low back pushing the floor. Plug in your computer or phone.
Bam!
Crisis averted. I was not going to do this again.
That's why we have 2 of us here, just for things like that.
Yeah.
Not to make the workouts more manageable, just in
No,
case
no.
the computer starts to die. 2. Brief.
Yeah, you probably don't know, but the other one of us is actually doing the same exercise off to the side as off the camera. So when you think we're only doing half the workout, no, the other one's doing probably even more work off the side.
Trying to show off, so we do it back here.
We keep the heavy weights over there too.
Dead bug again, guys. If you need to, bend those knees a bit. But if you can, extend out in space, hold nice and tight. Think about pulling those ribs down to your hip bones, so nice, tight core. They always say suck your belly button back towards your spine. In 15 seconds, we're gonna rest, and we're gonna go into a single arm dumbbell bent over row. I'm going to use the bench as a bit of a brace or support. 5, 2,
So you can lean on your object here, keeping a decent amount of weight in that hand that's resting on the bench or object, but pretty good balance overall. So you do have a lot of weight in your feet too. Butt sitting back, back stays flat. You want to feel solid with the rest of your body. Give yourself a good foundation and then pull in with that hand on the dumbbell. Pushing your chest forward as you pull the shoulder back. So we've got really good shoulder range of motion on this. You're not just trying to pull that elbow as high as possible, but you lift that whole side of the body, that whole shoulder up. 8 seconds to go. Exhale on every pull. And with weight on this one, or tempo, it depends on what kind of weight you have. If you do have a pretty heavy object, you can go a little slower with it, kind of 1 rep at a time. If it's only a really light weight that you have, you can go more tempo and just try to get a lot of reps in during that time. But the breathing becomes important too, because you have a lot of tension across your core for this, that if you hold your breath, sometimes this one can actually make you a little lightheaded by the time you're done if you're not breathing well. 20 to go. And then we're gonna have a 45-degree mountain climber. Always a joyful one. 10 seconds to go, and then you'll need your sliders handy. Or you could do them without sliders too if you want.
From that push-up position, pull one knee under body. It's not as much of a race as it is trying to find some core activation as you come around. The amount you turn the hips is really up to you. You can really stack them, kind of fold them underneath, or do more of a small rotation. Feet should meet in the back. They might match up. They might pause for 2 seconds, full extended position. One knee tuck, really focus on each individual knee tuck, 10 seconds out. Two.
My core is tight.
You had a lot of core in your last one. Conley, squats, crunch, bicycles.
Biceps, yeah.
5. He's fine, guys. He's fine. Don't worry.
Not complaining, just rationalize.
At least our lungs feel good, right? Another 30 seconds here.
Yeah.
The next exercise, we're gonna go into a lunge-based pulse and hop. Five. Resting. I switched to mine so it wasn't just make sure your next one is the right one. I'm a lunge-based pulse hop right now instead of push-ups.
Oh, okay.
Do you see it? You just did mountain climbers and it should have been push-ups, but probably too much in that push-up position.
Okay. I'm still doing the same one.
Yeah, I'm just switching mine. You
Okay.
see that I'm doing this, and you maybe would have done your one after this, right?
Okay, yeah. So lunge base, pulse hop, soft landing, and it's not even much of a jump. And if you want to get a big jump and you can get a big one, that's great. But otherwise, it's more about that lunge, pulse at the bottom, so a little half rep. So even if you don't jump at all, this one's still going to be pretty tough. 7 seconds to go. Loading that front leg, you're leaning forward into the front leg. Good. There should definitely be a big burn in your leg after that one. So you get other foot forward. Again, keeping the weight, leaning into that front leg. And usually the part that makes this really tough, other than the whole thing, is that eccentric part too. As you come down, as you land, slowing yourself down too puts a lot of load on the legs. So 18 seconds left, and then you'll be going down into a plank position. And it's going to be lateral taps, little toe taps off to the side. So 8 seconds more here, and then down to a plank.
Do a couple more too. 20 seconds out. Lightly tapping that foot off to the side. Bring it back in. Try to use your glute to lift the leg. Instead of sliding it over, use the glute, pick it up a little bit, set it down. 5, 2. Almost all the weight is going to stay in that stationary leg. If you had a beverage on your back, it should be stable. 5 seconds out. If you need to, you can go to knees. Same sort of pattern. Also, you can just hold that static plank if you'd like to. You keep the feet stationary. Think about just switching the load, kind of move the load off to one side of the body, bring it back, switch the load to the other side so your feet don't have to come off the ground. 10 seconds. Our next exercise is going to be a slow push-up. Slow both directions. 2.
So knees or toes. If you are going from your toes, you better be going really slow. If you start speeding up, that's a good time to go to your knees. So it is more about slowing it down and less about where you're putting your knees or your toes. Perfect posture the whole time too. One thing to be aware of is a lot of times as you're pushing up out of the bottom is you arch that back a lot because it just makes it easier when you kind of leave the hips behind. But lifting everything at once and keeping connected is going to be safer on your low back. 8 seconds to go. And it's also just going to make it more effective. 3, 2, 1. Probably. Not a squat. 3. So slowing yourself down, you're resisting gravity's pull. And then that push up again is a slow push up. That's usually the annoying part of this one is not being able to just push yourself up quickly, but taking your time. And depending on how slow you're going, your breathing could be a little different. You might get more than one breath on every single rep if you're going really slow, or if you're going a little bit faster with it, it might be a breath every rep. 12 seconds to go. Next one's going to be a goblet squat. So you'll want a fairly heavy object, whatever the heaviest thing that you have that you can hold in front. 4 seconds.
This is a good one for a child, a backpack, a lighter dog, something, another human, whatever.
Put your spouse over your shoulders or
Yeah. It's a good demo if you have a dumbbell. It's at her chin, center of body, sitting back and down. Elbows come close to knees. Depending on limb length and abilities, your elbows might tap your knees, they might not. Don't squat too deep, easy on the back. Inhale down, stand tall, exhale top, 15 seconds out. Knees are gonna drift out just a little bit on the way down. Glute squeeze at the top to finish. 5. 3, 2. Same thing. Nice gentle squat. In 30 seconds, we're gonna go into high knees. Fifteen. 5. Yeah. Stay nothing for it.
Go lock my car.
Alright guys, here we go.
So picking the knees up, you get your arms moving opposite arm and leg together. You could always do a march, like a quick march, if you're trying to avoid the impact or burning out really fast. But keeping chest up, looking either straight forward or slightly down. Should be getting the heart rate up a lot, 18 seconds to go. Just a little. 7 seconds to go. Good. All right, that one should be a fun one. If you can go straight through for the full 45, you're doing pretty well.
Thanks, man.
Now the second 45, that could be a different story. So legs burning a lot. You are landing on the toes, but then that heel can drop down a bit towards the floor, but you are keeping most of your weight up on the front part of your foot for these. And what tends to happen as you get tired is those knees don't get up quite as high. So really try to push yourself, keep the knees up, arms still swinging. Another 12 seconds to go. Next one's gonna be a hand walk to push up. So definitely a slower tempo one coming up next. 5. All right, nice work. That was impressive.
Hand walk to a push-up, 2 push-ups, 3 push-ups, 4 push-ups, or 5. Hand walk out only as far as you need to get into a good push-up position. And then we would say 1 to 5 push-ups once you're out there. If you need to, drop the knees to complete the push-ups and then hand walk back in from your toes. 10. 2. I parked on the street thinking we'd be done by 9, so watch out for the meter guy. He might come and nab me. Here you go, it's back on. Hand walk out, 1 to 5 push-ups. Kneeling push-ups are fine. Hand walk out, drop in, press, press, press. On that hand walk back in, drive the hips up. Trying to get that heart rate back down after the high knees. Control your breathing. Our next exercise is going to be a split squat, a Bulgarian split squat or rear foot elevated, pulse and hop. So you'll need your coffee table or couch, whatever you'd like to use. 5 seconds here. 2.
Hopefully that object you have is around knee height or so off the floor, somewhere within a few inches of that. So you're not up too high and straining the hip, and it's not too low where your knees just pounding into the floor. But you got the pulse and the hop. This is a good one. You get the lunge-based pulse hops at the beginning. You get this one in the middle. So weight's loaded on the front leg. You don't want to be pushing into that bench very hard with the back foot. You get a pulse at the bottom, so that half rep at the bottom, then a little hop up. Probably not going to get much of a hop or even any hop at all, which is fine, but still try to push through your foot like you're going to try to get one. 7 seconds to go. A lot of balance on this too. You know, it'll stabilize every time you sit into it. Yeah, a lot of real good leg burners here in this one. Kind of
pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Ben's got the core, I gotta do a bunch of legs.
Just working on our weaknesses here today. So sitting into it. And you can determine how much range of motion you're going to get, how deep you're going to get that back knee as you come down. The deeper you go, the more range of motion, the more challenging that's going to be too. But if you keep it at more light to medium with the depth, you might get more reps in, so keep a faster tempo. 18 to go. Next one's probably a core one. Yep, perfect. 10 seconds to go.
What is it?
Rehab side plank. So the next one's gonna be a side plank.
I'm not good. That's not
2, 1. This is just the leg raise, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
9 in the bottom.
Yeah.
Just.
No.
It's my favorite word. Just that. Yeah, just that.
So it'll be side plank, knee from the knee. If you're super ambitious, you can try from the foot, but they tend to get sloppy.
And I think you feel a lot more glute with that leg bent, maybe more oblique with the body long.
Range of motion gets smaller and smaller as I go.
Yeah. 20 seconds out here. If you need your left arm down on the floor in front of you for a little bit of help, you could. If the side plank is the most challenging part. But for most, just that leg lift gets really hard. 5. Preference on hand position could be on your body, up in the air. One thing to focus on as well is to make sure the hips are pressed forward so your knee, hip bone, and shoulder are all in a nice straight line. Some people have a tendency to set their hips back. Try to push the hips forward, straight line, leg lift. We're moving pretty well through the workout. Things to go still, but nothing's that bad. Next station, we'll be on our back for a 90-degree crunch. Just means the knees are 90, hips are 90, kind of maintaining those angles as we go through a small crunching motion. 10 seconds. Three, 2.
So you're laying on your back, knees will be at 90 degrees, and just keep them there the whole time. So you're not trying to pull your knees back towards the upper body. And this one's really good to focus on using your abs to lift yourself up. Don't just throw your head and shoulders up there. Don't pull on your head with your hands at all. They're just there to support your head and neck. So pushing the low back into the floor, squeezing those abs to lift your shoulders up off the floor. Just being aware, 10 seconds, being aware of how you're initiating the movement. And that's what's going to help take strain off the low back and keep it just right in the abs where we want it. 2, 1, good, resting. All right, back on. And same thing, as you get tired with this, it's a little easier to start using momentum, but we want to avoid that. We want to make sure you're using the abs, pull those ribs down towards the floor to lift yourself up. And think about lifting that chest up towards the ceiling, not necessarily just trying to get up towards your knees, but lift vertically. 20 to go. And the next one's going to be some nice old-fashioned jumping jacks. Last 10. All right, working our way through, getting towards the end.
And we forgot to tell you, this is a 90-minute class today. Okay. Not for us.
All right, guys, jumping jacks. Ben and I had to practice them a little bit before we came on camera because it's been a few years. Maybe a few years for you too. Maybe seems basic. Well, pick up the tempo and commit to it, and let's see. 30 seconds out.
They're actually harder than you probably remember them, but in
Almost like being a kid and doing monkey bars, and then being an adult and trying to relive that kid monkey bar mentality, man. It's tough. It's tough. I would say impossible. 10 seconds out. Three, 2.
Okay.
5 seconds out. If it felt easy, get going. 2, here we go. Nice soft landing, nice cadence. Still a ways to go. Next exercise is going to be a single knee or single foot push-up. 20 seconds. Keep breathing, keep moving. 10. 3, 2, beautiful. Some push-ups. I'll demo a couple for my toe, and then I'm gonna move to my knee, to the front toe, body's elongated, my left foot comes up, holds on, we'll push from there.
And that up foot, you're trying to keep that leg nice and straight, using the glute to hold the leg up. And you're not just crossing that foot over the other one. That's a nice way to cheat on these. But the whole idea is to get a little bit more core, a little more hip work on these push-ups, and you get that by keeping that foot off to the side a little bit. 18 to go, and these are still gonna be tough from your knees. So don't be afraid to go down to those. Get extra low, driving yourself away from the floor. 8 seconds left, a couple more. 2, 1. Good, and then you'll be switching sides. So the upper body's still gonna be working both sides, but your core is gonna feel it a little differently when you switch. Reach. All right, so getting low. And as always with the push-ups, don't let that chin lift up too high, but also don't let the forehead drop down low to the floor. We want to keep a good neutral position with the neck, so it stays in good alignment with the rest of the back. Good exhale every time you're pushing away. We've got 20 seconds to go on this. Last 10. Next one is going to be a side plank with a reach. 2, 1, good.
All right, guys, reach under body, draw back up. Nice, easy roll in the body. Allow that supporting arm to kind of move, that shoulder blade should move around a bit. That lat should stay tight so you're not shrugging too much. Hips stay high off the ground. Not about speed here, take your time. You can always put the bottom knee down at 90. 15 seconds out. 10. 5. 'Same thing on the other side. Long body is harder. That bottom knee down will make it a little easier. If you're finding that you're very unstable, you kick your feet wide, bent halves of the ankles stacked. You can unstack your feet, giving yourself a little bigger base of support. We have 2 movements to go after this one. "25 seconds. Your next exercise, you'll want your mini band just above your kneecaps. We're gonna have some band squat pulses. 10 seconds. 3. 2.
We've got 2 band drills to finish up here. And more legs. Squat pulses there. So you're sitting low and you're not trying to come all the way up to your top position. So a lot of tension and not really any break on this for your legs or for your glutes. And by pushing out into the band, you're getting the butt to work a little bit harder, reinforcing that idea of keeping the knees pointed out towards the toes, pushed out, not letting them cave in on your squats. 10 seconds to go. Three, 2, 1. Almost done.
Here we go.
Having a dance party in here.
Stopping traffic. The 3 cars that have driven by this morning.
So sitting back into it, keeping the weight pretty balanced. You do have a lot of weight in your heels, but you are keeping the toes down still. And depth is going to be dependent on how your back's feeling too. If you're feeling a lot of strain in the low back, you can keep it a little shallower, more in that middle range of motion. But if you feel pretty good and you've got good mobility with the ankles and the hips, you can sit pretty low. 12 seconds left. And you are going to keep your band on for this last one. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. We're going to have a quad plank.
In that quad plank position, remove the knees, not too wide in the feet, but press the knees out. You guys all have fairly new bands. It should be hard. If you look down at your knees, don't have your feet wider than your knees. The effort, amongst other things, is keeping those knees pressed out and off the ground. 20 seconds out. Ten. 5. Yeah. I'm gonna ask Ben to give us a side view of this next one.
I'm just trying to find a happy place. I had a dream last night that I won the high school state basketball championship. So I'm thinking about that while I'm doing these.
Did you?
No.
Back in the day? Oh.
Not even close.
I had a dream I slept through a 5K and I was really, really mad at myself.
You slept through it?
Yeah.
Like didn't even do it, or you just slept while you were running?
Right, like... No, I had a dream that there was a race and I didn't wake up. And then I was mad. It's funny the things we dream about.
I dream about what I wish would happen, you dream about what don't.
Damn it, I missed a run. I'm so mad. 10 seconds, guys, and then bands will come off. We'll go into a little stretch. We're gonna go pigeon first. We're gonna kind of fold the body down on the ground. From a push-up position.
Oh, yeah. Music's done?
Yeah, you can reset if you want. 5 seconds out. Let's turn it down just so we didn't get any other songs. Lay into it, could be from your forearms. But my right heel is somewhat in my right hip bone. It's a little lower, it's more quad, but that is the position I'm in. If it's very tight, the hand here works, especially after all the legs we did today. If you can settle the forearms, fantastic. Work on your breathing. Try to relax. Let the head drop. 20 seconds out.
And with a lot of these stretches, you can do a little rocking side to side. And once you find a good stretch, you can move around a little, small pulses to feel it in a little different angle. But it's all about like what you're feeling. There's not necessarily a perfect form for a lot of the stretches or things like foam rolling. It's more about what can be most effective. What can you feel the right muscles stretching in the right way. So switching sides, and then depending on flexibility or mobility, you can go down your elbows like that. You can stay up on your hands if you need to, if you can't get very deep. But over time, if you're sticking to the stretching on these videos, you should be feeling pretty good. It might be a lot more stretching than you're used to doing, but it's necessary now when we're not moving around as much. 18. And then next one's going to be the core stretch, so you'll be staying down on your stomach, down on the floor. So you're going to keep those hips low, keep the legs down, pushing up. And on this one, just be aware of what your low back is feeling. If that's where you feel most of the tension, you might not come up quite as high, or you might stay down on your elbows. Or think about keeping a little bit of tension in your abs, so on the front side, to help protect the back side. This is another one. You can lean a little side to side if you want to. You can just stay in one position if you feel a good stretch. If you need to come out of it for a few seconds to give the low back a chance to take a break, that's okay too. Got 5 seconds to go here. We're just doing a 1 round. And then last one's going to be hip flexor, stretch. So down on one knee. Find that pelvis position so you tuck your tailbone a little bit underneath your hips, so that way you're not arching your low back. If you find yourself going really far forward with this, you're probably not keeping that tailbone tucked. So butt's tight on that downside. Hands can be up on that knee, just pushing down lightly into there to keep some core tension. And then just deep breaths, and try to breathe into the stomach here. Take big deep breaths, and then good big exhales too. 7 seconds more on this side, then we'll finish up on the other side.
I saw a video yesterday that said that one of the animal shelters in Florida had all of its kennels spare. Like everybody had adopted all the dogs.
That's awesome.
I got nothing to do. Let's get a dog.
I hope they don't just bring them back at the end of this. All the more reason to keep people home for as long as possible. So deep breaths on this one again. And another thing you can try when you're in this position is think about pulling that front heel back towards your knee, the down knee. And that just creates a little extra tension, kind of it's like pulling the legs together. But last time you can get a little bit more of a stretch on the front side of that down knee, or down leg. 10 seconds left. Yeah? Got that from a yoga video. All right.
Done.
Done.
Bye, guys.
Nice work. Boom.
Have a good day.